time to chat here on my lunch break. Hope this finds you well. So, fascists are back in power in Italy, Georgia. Meloni, what is their party is the Brotherhood Party, something like that. And she seems to be, very much a Trumpian-like figure. So, again, what fascism is, in a lot of ways, obviously I'm not the first one to say this, is capitalism in decay. And Meloni, hugely racist, blames everything on immigrants and use very, xenophobic terms and talks about them, as like we're having this invasion of immigrants, very much in the same way that Trump does. Talks about having, a naval blockade to stop these migrants from coming to Italy, which again, the whole reason people have to leave countries, the whole reason people have to migrate is because of these various crises that capitalism causes. Capitalism, white supremacy cause displacement. Why do a lot of people, leave these different countries? Because, these corrupt governments that the U.S. and the West support force people to leave because of things like, IMF readjustment and realignment programs and these different various proxy wars, etc. So Meloni, much like Trump, very, very anti-immigrant. Which again, it's placing blame on this very marginalized and vulnerable group, migrants, instead of where the real blame needs to be directed, which is at the capitalist class. And you really have to be drinking the Kool-Aid to think that if you're having struggles, it's these people who are leaving very deplorable conditions in their own country, trying to seek a better life for themselves and their family. You really got to be drinking the Kool-Aid if you think they're the ones, that's why you're struggling, is because of those. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, get a break. But again, it's scapegoating. It's not directing the blame, the energy towards the capitalist class, which again, fascism, whether it's in the US or in this case we're talking about Italy, is capitalism in decay. Or I believe, was it maybe George Jackson, I believe, who described fascism as economic reform. So Meloni, very much xenophobic, racist, much like Trump. Also anti-LGBTQ, like Trump, wants to curtail, rights for that group, as well as curtailing access to abortion. And these far-right politics are going to continue to come to the forefront, unfortunately, as capitalism continues to decline further in these countries, whether it's Italy or the United States. So we've seen, like, with the rise of Trump, and obviously the Democrats don't have any alternative, and obviously that's why a game show celebrity hack like Trump was able to become president, because the Democrats nominated somebody so unpopular, i.e. Hillary Clinton, that, she lost to a game show host. So as people's material conditions continue to worsen and these traditional, kind of liberal parties or even center-right parties don't, advocate or implement policies that help the working class, and these far-right reactionaries, these fascists, will continue to gain a foothold, particularly with, with like the white working class in, the United States, obviously with other groups as well, and that's why there needs to be grassroots mobilization, organizing in order to combat those issues. So definitely not a good thing that fascists are back in power in Italy. The article I read said this was the first time they've been back in power since Mussolini back in the early 40s. And then also another kind of interesting thing about Italy is that these politicians, Meloni, what is it, Salvini, they're kind of Meloni's predecessor, basically. They don't identify as fascist. They're working under this thing called post-fascism, basically, where Meloni actually said, I believe, or maybe it was the predecessor, if I was a fascist, I would tell you. And fascism was this, thing in the past. That's not what we're all about. While espousing very fascist tendencies and policies and demonizing these same groups, these outsiders, these vulnerable groups of people, whether it was Italy in the 40s or Nazi Germany during that same time period, doing that same thing, but claiming that they aren't actually fascists anymore. So they're operating under, this post-fascist ideology and saying, it's the left keeps bringing up this whole fascism thing, but it's not real. Don't worry about it. We just want to put, Italy first. So very much Trumpian, in that way. And they claim to be, populist. But what is right-wing populism? It's fascism, right? So thought that was kind of interesting as well. And again, as people's material conditions continue to deteriorate and the political, the liberal, the center-right political establishment continues to offer no real, amelioration of the working class's suffering, then that's going to further embolden these far-right parties, these fascists, as people's material conditions continue to deteriorate. And also how telling it is that there's people out there, people in the US, people like Hillary Clinton, girl bossing it for this, fascist political leader who's now the prime minister of Italy, right? Meloni. Basically Clinton, I don't know if it was in a tweet or article, but I saw that she basically said, anytime there's a woman elected to a position of power, it's a great thing. Girl boss fascism, that's the thing we should be celebrating. Like, what the? That's the problem with, so-called liberal identity politics, is that, no, you should not be celebrating a fascist woman just because she got elected to power. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, are you listening to yourself? So would it have been better, if Hitler was a female or something? Like, of course fucking not. There's still a goddamn Nazi. There's still a fucking fascist. What the fuck? Oh man, it's kind of like the meme becoming reality, right? The meme of, that drone or that bomb overhead, and then on the side of it, there's, a pride flag and Black Lives Matter and stuff, and that person on the ground says the next bomb will be dropped by a woman or something like that. That's kind of the equivalent of Hillary Clinton, celebrating this girl boss fascist coming to power in Italy. So that was kind of interesting, not super surprising, but and then just wanted to have a quick is it froze? About the whole ridiculous notion that is MAGA communism. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Two things that are completely incompatible with each other. MAGA, or Make America Great, which is just, I mean, just the whole MAGA thing is so stupid on its face. America was never great. It's a settler colonial state that was founded on the genocide of the indigenous peoples here, along with the, enslavement of Africans and the fucking Atlantic slave trade, for fuck's sake. I mean, Jesus Christ. So, first off, America was never great. And second off, communism and this whole MAGA movement have absolutely nothing in common, and anybody trying to link the two or make a movement out of the two is not serious. They are either deeply uninformed, or they're just a grifter trying to get clicks, trying to get views, trying to make some money off of it, which is what Jackson Hinkle, one of the proponents of this, I think it was that, another reactionary Hawes, who coined the term MAGACommunism, and Hinkle jumped on board. But I mean, as Hinkle himself said, he does it all for the clout, so that's probably why, he's espouting this bullshit, reactionary, completely garbage MAGA-communism bullshit. Which again, like Trump, the spokesperson for MAGA, deeply racist, deeply capitalist, deeply sexist, deeply misogynist. And if you consider yourself a communist, you need to be strongly against all of those things I just stated that Trump supports, that MAGA supports. You also need to be, if you're a communist, you need to be an internationalist. You need to stand with the working class, with the oppressed, not only in the United States here in the imperial core, but also outside of that. MAGA is deeply against that. Again, Make America Great. That has no international solidarity to it whatsoever. And then Trump was also deeply connected to the to white supremacy. And if you are a communist, you obviously you're not a true communist if you support white supremacy, which MAGA is all about. Because again, you say hello emoji, good to see you jump on. Just doing a little riff on my lunch break right now, talking about this ridiculous bullshit grift that is MAGA communism. I mean, do not take those people seriously who are trying to convince you that MAGA and communism have anything to do with each other whatsoever. They are grifters. They're deeply unserious people, and it's completely and utterly ridiculous. And again, MAGA, Make America Great for who? Who has America ever been great for? It's been great for rich people, particularly rich white people. It's never really been great for the working class as a whole, particularly if you're a member of these different marginalized groups. If you're a person of, if you're a person of color, if you're an indigenous person, if you're a black person, if you migrated to this country from somewhere else, particularly recently, it's not a great country for you. If you're part of the LGBTQ population, the United States has not been a friend of you. If you're a woman, just look at the recent attack on reproductive health care, the Supreme Court striking down Roe v. Wade, etc., etc. So again, Make America Great, bullshit lie on its face. It's never been great unless you're been a rich person, particularly a rich white person. So just more reactionary nonsense. and it's a grift. So if you buy into the whole MAGA communism bullshit, I have some nice swampland I will sell you. I will give you a great deal on it as well. So I mean, yeah, these people aren't serious. Don't take them seriously. If you give them any of your attention or time at all, use it to call out their bullshit. Don't be giving them, any money. Don't be giving them any clicks. They're not serious. They're not communists. And if you identify with MAGA, Make America Great, you're deeply unserious and deeply uninformed. And the whole MAGA movement, is just another I'd buy swampland for the right price. Yeah, potentially. I mean, you can maybe grow some stuff that would do well in those conditions. That would be pretty cool. What is that? Like tropical swamps. What is it? Like mangroves or something like that. I mean, Jesus Christ. MAGA comment, like, what? I mean, Jesus Christ. And I mean... And then this fact alone, like the whole MAGA, Trump, that whole sect, deeply, deeply anti-communist. How are you going to link MAGA, something that's deeply, deeply against, they're always, lying, obviously, about what socialism and communism is when actually talking about the ills of capitalism, but they are deeply, deeply anti-communist. How are you going to link that with communism? They're the antithesis of each other. It makes no sense. Because these people don't make any sense. And they have to, yeah, so it boggles the mind, right? Yeah, name one Trump supporter willing to align with communists. But apparently, Hinkle and Haas and these reactionary folks think there's some type of unifying these completely, polar opposite groups with each other. It boggles the mind. It does not make any sense at all. We got to stay hydrated in these times, particularly when talking about such ridiculous notions as MAGA communism. I mean, JFC, Jesus fucking Christ. But yeah, so I just wanted to do a little riff on what's been going on in Italy with the election of that fascist Meloni, who is campaigning or claiming to be a populist. But again, a right-wing populist is a fascist. Fascism is capitalism in decay, and MAGA communism, not a real thing. Doesn't exist. Like the Truth Fairy, MAGA communism, a figment of our imagination. But the Tooth Fairy, harmless. They, put $1 under your pillow with inflation. Maybe it would be $2 or $3 at this point. You leave a tooth, you get some money back. But MAGA communism, a grift, bullshit, doesn't make sense, can't make sense, will never make sense. Anyways, I'm going to hop off now. Hope this finds you well. Keep fighting the good fight. Help each other out when you can, particularly in the United States, because the government is not going to help out the working class. So help out each other, and then, organize, connect, and, work this strategy of, dual power, right? So all power to the people. Peace. Much love. Peace.